Hey, so you clicked on this video, so just a quick disclaimer here in this first few seconds is essentially if you enjoy the game of Diablo 4, probably don't watch this video maybe, because you can't unlearn it or unsee it after I point it out. So uh, yeah, so if you enjoy the game right now, probably don't watch this video. So see ya, I'll see you later. And for those of you who are staying, yeah, this is actually just a strange nitpick of mine of Diablo 4. I don't actually play the game, so probably a number of you are already gone again. And essentially, the reasons why is because of like, well, this is a very strange nitpick thing that's just been bothering me every time I watch somebody play Diablo 4. And it's essentially to do with not so much the gameplay or the stats or the systems or anything. It's actually like very specific, and I don't know why it bothers me. So I just had to really talk about this, and this has been on my mind for about like a week and a half and more. And this is the best way I know how to just address it and get it out there. So I was watching Asmongold play Barbarian Whirlwind, and it just looks really weird. The spin looks really clownish to me. It doesn't look really lethal. It takes away from the theme of the game having a dark tone, and also like from one of the developer notes, I think they said they sort of tuned Diablo 4 to be like a heavy metal theme. The reasons why I have issue with like in particular the Whirlwind Barbarian animation is that it looks weak. I thought maybe this was just an early game thing. Maybe I'd run into some strange arguments of why it doesn't look more deadly. Is because people don't want flash or mass effects or whatever on the screen because the other games do too much flash or stuff like that, and all these other strange like possible arguments and outcomes, and just to keep it a more darker and realistic tone. This is just complete nonsense because first of all, a spin to win technique from any martial artist that you know or like ever speak to will tell you that spin to win in real life is probably the dumbest technique you can ever like exercise in real combat. So realism is completely out the door. Don't like that's just ridiculous. It's just a game logic concept thing where it works really well. Spin to win is like a real combat move in games, but not in real life. Okay, in real life, you're probably opening up so many vulnerabilities by just trying to wildly swing a weapon. Like basically, you're basically like vulnerable in every single direction, and you're just like spinning like this. Okay, and like just like that, I already ran into like a tower of boxes here because I didn't even know where I was gonna spin to. I was just trying to do a 360 rotation and I already collided with the wall. Proven. In any case, so Flash or realism or whatever, they just want to keep it dark tone is not the pedestal to lie down on, essentially. I looked up some endgame whirlwind builds of barbarians, and it's like more flash than games that would be tooted as like, oh, this is too flashy or whatever. There is literally full screen epileptic color shock to your face with nary an understanding of what's going on, other than you should move a little bit, constantly spin, and just move like in the general direction away from enemy weapons, and they'll just slowly die, and the game will autoplay itself like an idle AFK mobile game. Also, the same issue exists at endgame, so I don't think the animation is affected at all by attack speeds, by what it looks like. I'm not really certain. It's very hard to tell because the animation speed looks very static. So the faster you get more move speed, the more clownish it looks and more like circusy. Because now your movements do not match like the mobility rate or the distance that you're moving. Like when you're moving slow, it looks a lot more believable because the spin animation seems fairly static. But when you're moving faster and the spin animation doesn't increase with that, it looks like you have no centrifugal lethal force to help you address that issue where like the faster you spin, the more deadlier it should be. This is just natural like believability and understanding of like simple physics. It's not anything complex or whatever. It's just like for the average user who's not thinking about this, they should all be like automatic to their reception. So basically when you are moving faster, like in terms of distance, the animation should itself whirlwind even faster, like you're a crazy psycho man. Like I'm not expecting like some kind of lame toned down kitten kind of spin. Okay, I want to see a maniacal psychomaniac muscly Mr. Olympian go freaking crazy on the mobs, and even like when they kill the mobs, it should just be like a bloodbath being whirled out from where you are. But it's not the case. This is my strange nitpick of D4. It's like I want so much detail put into this. And there's a lot of reasons why I want it like this too, and also describing this criticism towards Diablo 4. It's on top of various other reasons as to why I believe this should be improved. Other things is a questionable stance that the barbarian takes while he's spinning. His arms are pulled inwards, and usually for a strengthy, muscly, like Olympian Chad lad man, I'd expect him to full reel his arms out like full reel, and just basically like be able to hold the edge of his weapon and swing it around at full reach, like maniacally, like a real Chad. But like in Diablo 4, all the animations I've looked, he's like hugging himself. His arms are bent inwards. Okay, so maybe there is like maybe he's just trying to build like a bigger spin, right? But I don't care. This is like game logic. It should be fully extended arms and just spinning like a crazy person at the edge, holding the edge of a weapon. If he's holding like a twig of a spear, I expect that reach to go even further. Simply because it's an action RPG game. I don't care if they like made hitboxes or whatever. Put a trace physical hit distance on the length of the weapons, like polygonal lengths or something. I don't know. Hit detection obviously has to be there. Other games throughout the years show some insane spin to win tactics that Diablo 4 could have definitely taken inspiration from. But D4 is like, I thought I was tripping out, and I looked at Diablo 3, and it just looks like a copy pasta from like Diablo 3 to Diablo 4, like 11 years ago. And mind you, the game had 6 to 9 years of development time, and this is probably like one of the more favorable, like more like famous builds in the barbarian kit that like people will engage upon or at least try upon. So like from like if I was taking the developer stance, I'd be like, well, the user is going to see this a majority of the time on the screen. Like maybe we should put more effort and refining into this and make sure it looks really good, because it's going to occupy the visual space a majority of the time. This is just pretty much like an art direction or a directional like effort. So I'm not even kidding. I look back to a D3 and I thought I might be tripping. In 2012, that was passable for Diablo 3 because, we were like 2012. Now we're on like, on the advent of AI, we're on abundance of information. We've had several like dozens, hundreds, like thousands of game titles that have come out since then, like huge games. We've got Asia coming out with like insane games that like, they just seem to be like way more inspired, and this looks kind of uninspired to me. I like if again, it's the same thing with Diablo 3. When I look at this for an analysis, I remove the whole nostalgia and the title of Diablo out of my head. So I'm not looking at this with like some kind of like fame bias. And second of all, I look at it like as if like, okay, what else is out there, right? And just compare all of it, the resources they had, the time they had, and just what's going on. Is why I have this cherry pick of a criticism that I laser tunneled my mind into is because the game is a staggering $70 US. It's $70 US in Canada, since our dollar is shit. That's literally $100. That doesn't even include the premium battle pass for what looks to me like a $30 to $40 reluctance game is what I would actually pay for Diablo 4. Like I pay $40 for Diablo 4 Canadian. That's because that's what the experience looks like. I would not pay $70 on top of a battle pass that's like an additional 10 USD, or I could jump into the premium where it costs like $120 essentially, or 130 for a premium. And the latest like cash shop shows like the costumes were like 25 USD. It's pretty much half of the entire Diablo experience, so I don't know what justifies this cost. Basically, like the standard edition is like $90 Canadian, 120 for the deluxe, and you only get like a premium pass and like some cosmetics. So like if you didn't buy the battle pass at all and you just wanted the standard plus the battle pass, you're still looking at like 100 to like 110. But like if you go like the additional like $30 into the deluxe, you get like a few extra cosmetics, which like is kind of whatever, unless it's exclusive like forever that no one else can ever obtain. Then sure, maybe that's a case to be made. Ultimate is like some accelerated battle pass. So I've seen like some of the things I don't really know. I don't have any plans on like being enthused or encouraged to spend time and money into Diablo 4 when I'm not even sure if I'll like the game. As much as I play a lot of ARPGs as well. When I'm playing Starship Troopers, that only cost me $30, and it has like a pretty strong roadmap as well as like very fun gameplay co-op and whatever. And like it's obviously it's a completely different genre, but there's other ARPGs I've been through like Lost Ark, Vindictus. I don't know what justifies the cost either, other than the franchise name title and maybe the brand name of Blizzard being attached to it for that $70 USD price point in just a standard edition. And like those two things aren't even the selling point in recent years for Blizzard. So why this criticism exists is because of a numerous amount of things. One, the reputation of being a AAA company, which usually means where top talent congregates and make something, lots of resources, and most people are just gate kept out of there too. So my expectation is obviously raised incredibly high because otherwise you're not a triple A company. You're just a single A, I don't know, small indie studio or something, or you're a micro A, or you're not A at all. Resources available to Blizzard. You guys have millions and billions of dollars, millions and billions, literally millions and billions. The price point of the product to the customer, I believe, is extreme. The duration of the development of the game took 6 to 9 years, which is very long for what doesn't seem to be much of like that much, in my opinion. Competitors on the market and what they're doing in the same length of time. So, for instance, like you've got like let's put Genshin Impact for instance. This is a bit of an outlier clause. Genshin Impact, $100 million, 4 years development, first year $4.2 billion in sales. That's what they did. Game is free. Honkai Star Rail right now. Again, it's like I don't think their development costs are anywhere close to the Diablo 4 development. As well as like I don't know, we got like other games like Project Overkill, we got Blue Protocol, uh Black Desert Online, all these things, and just basically like there's so many examples out there of crazy characters doing spin to win tactics. Path of Exile free, and like their animations again still look better. Well, subjective anyways, but at least like I know for a fact that Project Overkill, the animations look way better. Makes me want to play the game. Vindictus Land, we're talking like 7 to 12 years back where this game existed, more than 12 years, almost like closing in on 16, 17 years back, where he had twin spears and spin to win, and you become a literal Beyblade. And it was great. It's like the talk of the town. Nobody could imagine two twin spears spinning like a real maniac, and the animation looks cool as fuck. The guy is literally breakdancing with his legs. It looks crazy. Okay, we got Black Desert Zerker, which is pretty much identical to a barbarian. His cyclone and like twin giant axe spin with his arms looks like a meat grinder. I'm scared shitless when I first saw that. That was devastating to see. Kunoichi, spin to win with a giant ring blade, looks very deadly. Centrifugal force. Lost Ark Slayer, spin to win, looks crazy. Paladin, spin to win, looks crazy. Blue Protocol, hammer with an anime waifu, looks believable. She's got a giant head. She's hammerhead, not giant head, but anyways, you get what I mean. She spins it with like her head reeling, and also like it matches the realism of her stance. She's like carrying a giant hammer, her body weight is shifted to the back, and her head's kind of pulled forward to keep balance, and the legs are shifted inwards, making sort of this weird triangle inwards. That's expected of a like, a frail looking anime girl or whatever. I did not expect that of the muscly barbarian man swinging a spear like a twig, and also like, hugging himself and looking weak while doing it. Legend of Zelda, spin to win. Soul Calibur, spinning. And it's like there's so many examples. The Cyclone in PoE looks ridiculous, but that I don't hold the same standard because the game is free and they don't have the resources or the disposal that Blizzard has as a AAA company. So the expectations are obviously very different. We've got like Juggernaut, spin to win, who literally goes crazy in Juggernaut. Axe, spin to win. Literal barbarian identity. Dota 2, Dawnbreaker, Yule Scepter, Clown Spin, which is what looks like D4 here. Anyways, that's enough probable comparison examples. I consider this criticism fairly impacting because it's a skill you'll see probably a lot of barbarians wield. It's already gone through some patches to be nerfed because it was so powerful and strong. It'll be across many streams. It's across the visual space very often. The whirlwind that blows up the map constantly is probably going to be some meta cookie cutter build, most likely at end game. And then if it really works out, a lot of other people will be doing it. And this animation or impact of the combat in its execution looks really lackluster, in my opinion, given the resources available to Blizzard. Other things that also sort of just pointed me out was like, the minor spoiler here, but like it's just the plot point of colluding with a primeval as the main character was really strange. I don't know what really the full story was behind that. I was just watching some streamers, as I said, play through it, and I think it was in like Act 1 or something. Your character's colluding with Mephisto, the Lord of Hatred, which makes no sense given the traits and what he stands for. If he's the Lord of Hatred and he kind of like hates like all Nephilims, including the angels, and demons are his only allies, it'd be very strange to collude with somebody that you primevally hate. You're the essence of hatred, but you are willing to collude with the mortal, which is I don't know, like just the concept alone without even like twisted story details doesn't make sense. Like if this was the personality of the primeval, it really didn't make sense. And I think Asmongold actually had the same reaction too. He's like, I don't think colluding with the primeval is a good thing at all. Like, why is this happening here? Anyways, I don't know the full context, but I just thought that was another strange point that like got stuck in my head. And mind you, like this is just a criticism. I think if they actually improve the animation and its speeds to match, as well as like, just making it more refined and crazy, I honestly think it would probably be better. And given that the game's a heavy metal like dark theme, yeah, why not make it more maniacal and violent rather than what there is currently? Which I know it takes a bit of work, but again, Blizzard has resources, AAA top talent like attraction apparently, maybe not anymore, I don't know. But overall, to summarize it, the combat impact usage of Whirlwind looks very circus and underwhelming and theme clashing with the overall tone of Diablo 4. That, or I've just experienced much better insano muscly men spinning with real intent. So that's it. Thanks so much for watching. I'll see you later. Peace.